Hey everybody, that's my phrase. I say it every day when we come on live. Happy Friday, welcome to Painting Live here at Game Trade Media. I am your host, Rick. I am the production manager here at Game Trade Media, and we are continuing our series of painting the new Wizkids line of miniatures for Dungeons and Dragons. They come unpainted, they are pre-primed. They are called Nolzur's Marvelous Miniatures. They are pretty awesome. You can check out all the list over at wizkids.com/unpainted to see a whole gambit of miniatures that they're going to be putting out. They come out next month in March. So it's Friday, last day of the week, and we've been doing this now for about 2.5 weeks. So from the first video we did where I was using my cell phone to where we're at now, we've pretty much gotten to where we need to be, but we're missing one thing, and I'm going to reiterate this throughout the broadcast. We need a name for this program. So I'm going to reach out to you guys, the viewers, to help us come up with a name. So in the comments, any name for the program that you think would be entertaining, please put that in there, and we'll pick one of those, and we'll see that for next week. We'll make up a little graphic for it and stuff, and it'll be fun. And by we, I mean Josh. All right, so let me just really quick refresh the page here so that I can see all y'all in the comments, and we can get to some painting. For those of you that are new to watching this, the paints that I'm using are the Army Builders or Army Paints War Paints. Right here, I got a bunch of different paints here. Pretty awesome. There we go. And we're going to finish up at least this orc today, right here. And we'll probably put some work on the other orc, and I also would like to try to do the imp and the pseudo dragon as well. All right, so let's pop this thing here. All right, here we go. That's right. Hey Casey, thanks for jumping on. I am channeling our Bob Ross here, because I'm Rick Ross, you know, hip hop Rick Ross. So it should be a lot of fun. So yeah, it's gonna be a good time. That's a paint collection, Ma. It's world famous game designer Matt Voss in the chat room. Very cool. All right. So yeah, so we're gonna look for a name for this program. We want you, the viewers, to help us come up with this name, and it should be a lot of fun. All right, here we go. So we're gonna get to work on this orc. I need to do some touch-ups on his green areas, and then the terrain base, and then we'll do a ink wash on him, and it should look good. So there we have that. This is not sponsored by anybody. All right, here we go. So the greens, I'm going to use Goblin Green today. I was using Monster Green before, so this Goblin Green is a little lighter, so it'll bring out some depth on that character. Little dab will do us. And I'm using the Army Painter brush for this. This is the detail brush. All right. So we're going to go through and just touch up some of the spots where I need to put some more green, because it may have didn't get a good coverage, and also to give more depth to that, the green spots on the character. So we were doing a thing where we're naming like all the characters, or giving them little like backstories. So this orc here is part of the Firelocks clan. So because they all have red hair, we called them the Firelocks clan. And we'll get some good intel on this character when James, who's been in the chat room since pretty much the beginning of the program, we started about 2 weeks ago, a little over 2 weeks ago. And yeah, so he said he was gonna go to task and come up with a cool backstory and everything for the orcs. So looking forward to seeing that. And like I said, for those of you that are just tuning in, this is our Friday episode of live painting here. We're painting the Wizkids Miniatures. They're a lot of fun. They're really nice. They're pre-primed with Vallejo Prime, so you don't have to use that step when you're painting. Just take them right out of the package, go right to painting. And the prime takes the paint very well. Alright, so we got the greens kind of touched up. Alright. What is that? Firelocks. That's right. Firelocks. Hey, thanks for jumping in, Michael. It's nice to see you in the chat again. Make sure you guys are sharing this. If you don't already like the page, please like the page. Like I said before, we're going to have some other cool programming going to be premiering pretty soon. We're tossing around some ideas. And we want you guys to be able to catch those as well. We don't want you to miss anything here on Game Trade Media as we build this community and have a lot of fun with it. All right, there we go. So now I'm going to go back and pull out that gunmetal gray because I have a few spots to touch up with the gray as well. And then we'll hit the base and put some red on his hair again. There's a lot of little finer touch-ups, and then we'll go look at the face because, you know, we want to give some good detail on the face as well. And then we'll wash it with some tone, and he should be about done with this one today, which will be awesome. I got to take some pictures of the spiders soon as well, so that and get them up on Instagram because that's where they need to be. Return of the wig, Matthew. That maybe, or if we change the wig out, you know, maybe this wig doesn't stay. Maybe we'll get other wigs. That'll be pretty funny. Hey Daniel, how you doing? Thanks for jumping into the chat and watching and sharing and all that stuff. Hopefully you guys are sharing this on your social media to bring more people to the fold. One of us. Because, like I said, we're trying to build a cool community over here and see what's going on. All right. Return of the wig. Firelocks. You post your questions. Okay. All right. So Game Trade Media, we got our chat room monitor there, throwing up some good intel as well. Again, if you want to check out the entire list of all the Wizkids miniatures that are going to be available in your local game shop next month, March, just go over to wizkids.com/unpainted. You can see the whole list. Those that you see there are just the 3D renders of said miniatures, but it gives you a really good idea of what they look like. I have a close-up over here of the Dwarf Wizard, member of the Lollipop Kids, as you can tell by his staff there, and he represents. So, all right. Now we did the gunmetal gray, and like I said, the last little bit here, I want to do a little bit on the back of his cloak here, some browns along the inner edges to kind of catch his face, and it should be good to go. Brown on this one. All right. And this is, I got to shake it up a little better. I have just a white palette, as you can see right here. I got it at Michael's, so I just go pick those up. I got a little one here on the side as well. I got to clean them out, but so I just use those because I like the little trays where I can put the miniatures in the tray here. So, granted, I could mix paints there as well, but I like holding my miniatures there to the side and using I like the egg holder parts for the paint. All right, there we go. Do you guys have any particular ones you... Hey Max, how are you? Thanks for joining in. Are there any particular palettes that you guys use? One of the things that I've mentioned in previous episodes is if you guys are doing any paints and have pictures of the paints that you've done, I would love to see them, and I'm sure everybody else would love to see them too. And if you go to the comment section on the page here and look at other people's posts, you can see some other pictures of their paints and their game collections and stuff. So, you know, we'd love to see what you guys are into. So show us your game collections, your board games, what RPGs are you playing, What board games are you into? What miniature war games or whatever you're into in the gaming community. We want to see it and share it and let everybody enjoy the fandom that we all enjoy. So please participate. If you want to step it up, use a wet palette. A wet palette. Okay. Hey Max, can you? Again, I'm not like I said before. I'm not a pro painter by any means, and so I'm learning along the way. Could you show me an example of a wet palette, even if it's a link to a YouTube channel or something like that? We got you. The guys in the back over here, Josh, having fun. We'd like to have fun here at Game Trade Media, so you're going to hear me laugh off camera, and I apologize if it's distracting, but we'd like to have fun here, so that's one of the great benefits of working here, is we have a good time. If you guys want to actually see the setup, because for those of you that have been around since I first started this about 2 weeks ago, all know that I started off using my cell phone. I just set it up on my desk, and I just paint at my desk. But because of the reaction that the community has had for this, we brought it into the actual studio. So we have a webcam set up, and you can see what the studio looks like. There you go. And it looks amazing. We have a great facility here to bring you guys some really cool content. And based on that, that means that we can bring you guys even more content. We just want to know what you want to see. And it's better to help. My teleprompter just gave me an alert. Crazy. Okay, if you do not have a game store near you, yeah, you could do it via Amazon to pick up some stuff. Hey, thanks, Elmar. There's a closed skin, exposed belts, pouches. How do you decide what to paint first, or do you base? Okay, so Edward is asking, when you're painting a miniature with layers of clothes, skin exposed, belts, pouches, how do you decide what part to paint first, or do you base coat everything at the same setting? I kind of go through, and I know like all the metallics will be metallics, all the greens will be green, so I base coat everything with the color that I will have, like I said, metal on metal, browns and such for cloaks or whatever, green for the skin on this orc hair. I just do a base coat, then I come back and I do another layer of painting to pop everything out, and then I'm going to do a ink or tone wash to get those cracks, to give it that, the shading and the depth that the miniature needs, so you can see all the amazing detail that these particular miniatures have. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this miniature in front of the close-up camera so you can kind of see, I'll turn it around so you guys can see where I'm at with this one. So there's his front view right there, and now I'm going to turn him so you can see his back side there, and you can see the cloak and everything and how he's coming along. I think this is probably one of my better miniatures that I've painted so far, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. And I think it's one of my better ones because a lot of you have been suggesting different techniques that I'm using, and they are obviously working. So I appreciate everybody's input on that. Hey Sarah, thanks for tuning in and watching. If you guys could share it, again, for those watching, share this on your social media, it'd be great. Sarah, for those of you that don't know, is a cosplayer. We met her down at MegaCon this past year. She's awesome. So thank you, Sarah. And she's a gamer. She plays D&D. She's awesome. There you go. Is the world famous Matt Voss? I am not. So someone has suggested off camera that I do this shirtless. I won't do it. Not going to happen. Unpainted and naked and unpainted, like naked and afraid. No, it's not going to happen. All right, so is Matt Voss still in the room? Matt Voss is a friend of mine who just launched a Kickstarter for gaming candles, so you guys should check that out. They're called Critical Smells, so check them out if you guys have an inclination to have scented candles that are representative of different character classes. So like the fighter smells like leather and campfire wood. So naked and everyone else is afraid. That would be funny. Absolutely, Sarah. We adore you. All right. All right, so got all the grays on there. Got the greens done up. Gonna just take another close look around him. I need to put a little bit more red in his hair. And you know what? I think another dab of gunmetal around his hand here holding the axe. Real quick, all right. Yeah, absolutely, Edward. I do actually start at the deepest layer, so because the flesh on this one, the green was the deepest layer, I did the green first on him. And that's what I would do with other miniatures as well. Unless they have like a really big flowing cloak like I've done on some other characters. Like this one here, I did the cloak first so that, again, we're just showing off all the different miniatures in the line, and I'm going to go through those here again in a minute. But yeah, I usually start at the deepest layer, like the skin on this one, and then the metal pieces, and the cloak, and then the hair, and then I go back and I touch up everything, and then I add some layers and highlights. But that was a great question. Thank you very much. Redness. Yes, it's a color. Love it. I love that Matthew's in here. Appreciate you participating and coming into the chat, buddy. All right. So let's get the last little bit of touch up on the grays here on the axe. All right. Absolutely, Edward. Thanks for joining us in the chat. We really appreciate it. And I'm going to throw it out there again. It is Friday. It is the last day of the week. We'll be back Monday at 1 p.m. But I want to see, we're trying to come up with a name for this program. And we want you guys that are watching to help us come up with a name. So if you could do that, that would be awesome. Just give your suggestions in the chat room and we'll pick one of them. And you'll see it on Monday when we come back live on Monday. But it'll be a lot of fun. You know, again, the community coming together. All right. I just want to take a real quick peek at the top part here. Nice. All right. There we go. All right, so back to the miniature here, and the miniatures in general. I'm going to talk about the miniatures in general. So I'm painting an orc right now, Firelock Clan, as we've called him. So we've got the orc here. Some other miniatures that are in the set are sorcerers. Here are 2 sorcerers that are part of the set. As you can tell, they have these clear acrylic like energy bands coming out of their hands or around the body here. And these 2 come in the same pack. So when you get your miniatures, they're going to be 2 to a pack or multi-packs where you have like 3 like the spiders or the familiars. And there are some single packs of monsters like the griffin and the troll, which are a little bigger. But the price point on these miniatures is $4. And so when you go to your local game shop, $4. And you're going to get 2 awesome high definition miniatures that have the same detail that they would have right out from the sculpt right out of the mold. And they're really rigid, they hold their poses, and everything's really, the plastic on this is really good stuff. Happy hour with miniatures. That's a good one. I have to paint too. Yes, Max, you must paint. It is always more fun to paint with others. And like I said, if you guys are out there painting and when you get something done, put it in, you know, share your paints progress and completions pictures in our comments and sections and post it on our page because we want to share it with the community. We want to see the awesome work you guys are doing. Yeah, hey Edward, Colossus Colors, I like that, Steve. Edward Pasek, this right here is the Wizkid Miniatures. They are part of the new D&D line. This is one of the Mind Flayers. The D&D line is called Nolzur's Marvelous Miniatures by Wizkids. They are unpainted, pre-primed. They come in packs of 2 or multi-packs of 3, and they do have like monster packs of singular ones, but they're $4 a pack. And that's what the Mind Flayers look like. Our friendly Illithids, which I love those guys. They just look amazing. So there you go. Pygmy Pigments, that's a good one. All right, so back to the orc. We want to get this guy done today. I'm going to hit his base real quick, and I pulled some grays out. I want to put like, where was that one? I got dark stone and ash gray. So, what was that, on Amazon, Edward? They'll probably be available on Amazon, but if you do not have a local game store near you, but you can order them on sites such as, what is it, Troll and Toad. There'll be other things on there as well. Stroking out with Rick. It could mean 2 things. 3, actually. I'm a big guy. I could have a stroke at any minute. Stroking a brush stroke. I get it. And I'm not doing this without my shirt on. People have suggested it. I'm not doing it. You guys are awesome. You guys are absolutely comedy. So, oh, I know. I'm talking about the chat room, Josh. You're funny too, obviously. But the chat, there are some funny cats up in there, and I love it. And the shirtless painting wonder. No, nobody wants to see that. Maybe 8 years ago, 9 years ago, that would have been a thing. Not today. All right. So I'm going to put I'm just doing the little base stonework that the orc is standing on down here. Going to put some grays down there. Right now I'm using ash gray. The paints I'm using are the Army Painter War Paints. So I'm using ash gray for my base on this. And then I'll probably dry brush it a little bit to give the stones a little bit more texture. And then we'll let that dry. Come back and I'll put some work on his face a little bit. Throw a little more paint there, and then with his like teeth and his eyes and stuff, and his eyebrows and such. And then his hair. Let all that dry and do a tone wash, and then this guy will be complete. That'd be awesome. Nah, I bet you can hear them dying. They're jokers in there. Rick's Hour of Art. It's not bad, Neil. I like that one. Stroking with Rick. The Bears. All right. You should paint your tattoo. You know, I actually do need to get my tattoos completed for my sleeve. Put some color in them so I can have it's my Marvel sleeve. So I have all the different characters. I have Wolverine, the Hulk, the Thing, Spider-Man, Iron Man, Nightcrawler, Deadpool, and Captain America, and Angel from the X-Men. I want to there's like 2 more I want to get added on. I'll get Namor the Submariner and Thor. So. Rick's Color Cave. That's a good one. Because it is kind of a cave in here, you know, because we have all the foam on the walls. It's a little, the sound is muted, and it definitely can feel like you're in a cave. All right. Now we're going to hit the hair. Going to pull out that. You know what? I found Glistening Blood Red. Glistening Blood Red for the Firelock hair. I'll put some of that in there. Andrew, will Warhammer follow? That is a good question. I was actually, once I complete all of these Wizkid miniatures, I am going to be looking at doing some other minis, and what I probably will do is we'll put it to a vote. I've got Bones miniatures, I've got Games Workshop miniatures, I've got weird miniatures for Malifaux, so I've got a bunch of different ones we can choose from, and I'll probably put it to a vote to see which ones we'll do next. And when I do the other ones, I'm probably only going to do a couple at a time, and then go to another set, and so on and so forth, so we can actually see a larger span of miniatures. Because I'll tell you, like when we hit those Malifaux miniatures, that's a whole nother skill level, because those things are detailed, they're tiny, but they look amazing. Not to say that these ones don't, because obviously the Wizkids ones do look amazing, or I wouldn't have chosen first. And they are high definition with a lot of great detail. But I'm just saying that some other miniatures require a lot more skills than I might have. And we might even bring, like when I hit the Games Workshop stuff, because the Games Workshop miniatures, people are really sticklers to making sure that you paint those to a specific, like if you're going to do Space Marines and you're going to do them under a certain flag, they got to look a certain way. And I have a good friend that I'll probably invite in to come and show us how to do those paints. And then the other techniques we want to work on is That's a good one. I don't want to talk about that. I got a prompter here. They're saying talk about how jacked I used to be when I was in the military and a freaking bodybuilder. Oh, never mind. Never mind. They're gonna show you. That was me about 8, 9 years ago. Yep. Yeah, there was a time. So, anywho's, what was I saying? Now I'm all distracted. I was talking about, bringing in a friend, but also other painting techniques. Like, I know people that use airbrush on miniatures. I have never airbrushed a miniature in my life, but I want to learn how, especially when you're doing like the big mechs for Warhammer. I'd love to see that and actually do it as well. So we'll probably figure out how to get one of my friends from one of the local game shops here in Maryland to come in and show us how to do that, and we'll get some hands-on with some airbrush techniques as well, which I think will be a lot of fun. A friend of mine actually asked me, why do I have this big paintbrush in frame? And the reason I do is because I also have done some body painting. So yeah, a lot of fun with that. All right. Okay, so we put some more red in the hair here for the Firelock Orc. All right, there we go. The chat room is on fire. Hope everybody's having a great day. I know it's Friday and everybody wants to get out for the weekend, go home, spend time with their family, play some games with their friends. What are you guys planning on playing this weekend if you're going to get any gaming in? Please I would love to know what you guys are going to play this weekend. I don't know if I'm going to have an opportunity to play anything because I'm actually working on a couple games. So I'll probably just go to task on those. All right, so we added some red to his hair. And the base gray looks kind of dry, and I'm gonna add some this other color I had right here, this dark stone. I'm gonna put some of that on there, but I want to hit his face and get the I need to get like one of the insane super small brushes so I can get his eyes. All right, not that one. There we go. So we got this one right here. It's just called Insane Detail. So we're gonna hit his eyes here. Very tiny. All right. Let's do this. All right, here we go. Try to get that red right in the eye hole there. Guild Ball, our group is getting into it. Oh, Guild Ball's miniatures are pretty cool. I love that whole concept behind the miniatures in the game itself. I've seen it played. I have not yet played it. It looks like a lot of fun, and the fact that it plays in seasons, kind of like any other sport, football, baseball, Quidditch. It's pretty cool. Nice. World building is amazing. Force on Force Modern Skirmish, tons of fun, and we have a full Africa campaign going. Max, hey, Max, post a link to that game up. I'd love to see it. I've never even heard of it. I'd love to see a link to that, and so I can go back and look at what it's all about. That sounds pretty cool. Force on Force. Matt is streaming a D&D Adventure League group. That sounds pretty cool. What about the RPGs out there? Are there any RPGs that you guys are playing besides D&D or Pathfinder, like a non D&D-esque campaign? Or are there any that you guys would recommend? There we go. That'll work. All right. So I also need to put a little red over his eyes for his eyebrows, because eyebrows got to match the hair, right? All right, here we go. Sorry I got quiet there. It's just a little difficult with my big ass hands. All right. Come back with some jungle green on his face. They are. I have Vallejo Paints here. These are the Army Builder War Paints, or the Army Painter War Paints. And yeah. And I have some Vallejos right here. So model color, acrylic colors. This is light flesh. So there's a bunch of them in here. All right. Oh, and with eyes, it's easier if you paint them first and then paint the face around it. Okay, thanks, Max. That probably would have helped me, but I'm gonna now go back with another green and kind of cover up my mistakes. And I appreciate the tip, guys. As the peanut gallery back there is like just the tips, guys. Again, we like to have a lot of fun here. We're a bunch of jokers. All right, so back to the face. All right. Putting a little more green on here. Different shade of green, just to give them a little bit more texture. There we go. All right. Put a little bit more on his body there as well. How much do each of the paints cost individually, and how much did the Army pack cost? Okay, great question, Matt. I appreciate the question. The individual paints, I don't know. However, I know that if some of the other paints that you can buy, like Citadel, they're like $2.50 a bottle, so $2.50 a bottle. And I'm guessing that the Army painters are probably right around that same price point. The Mega Hobby set that I did pick up was $79, and it came with a bunch of different paints. And it also came with a can of primer, different basing glue. So this, this big green basing glue here, a drill for pegs and such, so a little drill tool, and a bunch of other tools, so like the tweezers, an X-Acto knife, a file, some brushes, some other super glue, and some plastic glue as well, and then a bunch of like terrain, the basing parts, so you get like the stone effect, and I have some for snow effect, and it looks like there's green as well, and it also came with like this little pack right here that you could put like on Army figures and stuff to represent like foliage and greenery around your character's base. Hey, Feng Shui, I love that game. That's where you can be like that incidental hero. You don't ask for it. You just walk around the corner and boom, you're in the action. I love that game. And then Goblin Quest tomorrow. I haven't played Goblin Quest. Yeah, it's not too shabby there, Matt, for one who wants to get started. $79, you're invested. You got pretty much everything you need to paint with. It also comes with this nice little mat here that you can use. So if you need to cut stuff, you got that as well. All right, so back to painting. We want to get this guy done at least today. All right, just adding some more of this lighter green on here. Kind of let it pop off the miniature a little bit. Okay. And like I've already mentioned, if you are watching, if you're just tuning in, we are painting Wizkids, Nolzur's Marvelous Miniatures, which is the new D&D line of miniatures, unpainted, pre-primed with Vallejo Prime. They are high definition, so the detail you see on the miniature is exactly as it would be from sculpt to mold, and out of the packet or out of the mold. It is super high detailed, and they look freaking amazing. All right, so just gonna put a little bit more green here. Another question here. All right, cool. Force on Force, we got it. Thank you for posting that link, Max. Appreciate it. I will come back and look at that after the broadcast and see what it's all about. Because again, and that's for everybody else out there. If you haven't heard of it and anything, we want, again, just building the community, sharing what we love, sharing our fandom. Oh, Betrayal at House of the Hill is a ton of fun. I agree wholeheartedly. And the expansion is pretty cool too. There we go. All right, so here's that. Excuse me, sorry about that, guys. Got a little bit of a cough. All right, last little piece of business I need to do here for the orc before there's two little parts I need to hit up, and one of them is his teeth, and then after his teeth, we're going to come back and we're going to put a little bit more stone color for around his feet, and then we're going to wash him with some toner, and this orc will be complete. All right, so there we go. On to the teeth. All right, tiny little teeth, but they're happy little teeth because they know they're going to be biting into somebody's flesh soon if necessary, and we all know that an orc isn't afraid to go the distance when it comes to putting some pain on their enemies. The axe don't work, the teeth will come. Ever use a wet palette for painting? Matt, I have not. Someone actually mentioned that before. Of dry versus wet. I like the wet, but even though I just said I've never used one. I'm really hoping that Matt Smith is a real person. Okay, great, because I know that, again, we have jokers in our studio here. But Matt, I have not used a wet palette. I know that I probably should because you are now the second person to ask about it. So I'll look into it. And if you guys have any YouTube videos on how one is done, I'll take a look at it. Okay, James, as far as the backstory for the Firelocks, if you want to just, I don't know if you can add an attachment as like a Word document to your a post that you put up on our wall. If not, you can actually email it to me and I'll post it up so people can snag it. I'll put it up on the page here so people can snag it out and we'll direct them to it. And for those of you that wanted to do that, my email is arick@comicwow.com. All right, so if it doesn't work, just send it to me and I'll make sure it gets posted up so everybody can share it. It'd be awesome. All right, so the orc's teeth are done. Now we're gonna go to the dark stone, and I'm gonna just kind of dry brush a little bit of that over the top of the gray stones. Shake it up. All right, and then we will Alternity. That looks. I remember that. I don't remember playing it. Is it still in publication? Still in print? Okay, I see it. They dropped it when they did acquire it. TSR. Who else misses TSR? I do. No, I don't want to use that brush while I grab it. Sorry about that. So I need to get another brush. There we go. The actual dry brush. This one right here is the small dry brush. So I'm going to use that one. Just pull that. Wipe it off there. Hey Joe, thanks for that. I am channeling my inner Bob Ross for this program, and it's a lot of fun. So I'm just painting some in the Bob Ross fashion. I am painting some happy little rocks at the feet of the orc here. Just some happy little rocks right there. They just love being stepped on and walked all over. There we go. All right. And then we're gonna, after I do that, it'll be time for the tone wash on the bad boy here, on this orc, member of the Firelock clan. All right. There we go. Awesome. Yes, man. I realized that. I thought for a second that one of my coworkers, my boss actually, may have come up with a background. I have a wet palette at home, but I find it kind of fiddly to use set up correctly. Take a picture of that. I'd love to see what it looks like. Or if, again, like I said, if you guys have a YouTube video where someone's using a wet palette in their painting techniques, I'd love to see it. Just because I want to try new stuff and learn new techniques so that I become a better painter. And like I said, a lot of the advice I've been given already from the community during this program, since we started it, has already helped my painting, and I really appreciate it. And it will obviously help others that are just getting in, that are watching this, that are new as well. All right, so we'll let that dry. Take a look at the chat here. Dukan of Warhammer TV did a tutorial on red hair. Okay. Yeah, I miss TSR too. Yeah, TSR, why'd you go away? All right. So, what's your favorite part about role-playing games, by the way? This is a question that kind of came up today. I was talking to Mallory, who is our editor here, does all the video editing. She's actually our switcher and basically our program manager behind the scenes while we're doing this. But what's your favorite aspect of role-playing games? The thing that we were talking about the most was actually just character generation. So character generation is one of the funner parts because you get to flesh out this character that's going to be in this world. You give them their backstory. You choose their skills and talents to best suit that backstory and hopefully drive them on their quests. So what is your favorite aspect of role-playing games? Wet palette is easy to use, and it made so much easier to paint, for me at least. Okay, I will take a look back through the comments. Thank you, Max. It is much appreciated. All right, so I think this guy might be pretty much dried up enough so I can throw the tone on there. And the tone I am going to go with is a green tone for his flesh and probably a light, I think there's a light tone just in here, soft tone for some of the other parts. So I want to hit that green tone real quick, and then I'll come back and do the soft tones over everything else. Yeah, that's one of the best things too. Is if you are with a good group of gamers and you're role playing and you're immersed in it, it absolutely brings the best of that particular game out. I agree. That's a great answer too, Michael. That is true. If you're like the person that is building the campaign and building the world, just being able to put your ideas to paper and then subjecting your friends who are the players to said environment does make for a great reason to play. I agree. That is awesome. All right, so I'm gonna grab this brush here. This is a one from Games and Gears. So I'm gonna use it to wash the orc's green areas with the tone. There we go. That's already looking awesome and much better already, so the best. Not me, just the effect I'm getting is awesome. All right. So there we go. Put a little bit more of the tone on there. I love it. All right, let's see what else we got in the... I like the fact that it ain't on it. Yeah, it absolutely can turn into a Monty Python skit. Especially, again, if you're with your close friends and you're playing, you already know each other's like humors and humor level and where you can actually take your humor. And it can become quite funny. I agree, wholeheartedly. It's kind of difficult when I used to go to Gen Con and play in some of the old Living City, Ravens Bluff campaigns and stuff. Sometimes you had to keep your humor in check because you weren't sure how it would be received by some of the other players, which is okay. You know, sometimes you just gotta sit back and play and not bring out some of that humor that all of us have. Game. Okay, Old Palladium TMNT was awesome. I am a 5-foot mutant rooster. That's awesome. Todd, that's a great response. Yeah, because sometimes you just need to escape. You need to escape from everything going on in the world, and one of the best ways is to get with your friends and immerse yourself into a fantasy world of gameplay. It's a lot of fun. I agree. All right, so there you go. I'm kind of curious, though, how a rooster with a Russian accent would actually sound. You know, these are like, hello, my name is Boris, and I'm from Dubrovnik, Croatia, but I have now living in the Russia. You know, as a you know, I'm not sure how that would go, but it sounds like it'd be hilarious. And he's always like this, hello, I am from Russia, and he's head bobbing. It's awesome. I'm Boris. All right, now we're doing the soft, darker tones on the metallic areas while the green spots kind of dry. There we go. And again, the wash is gets in there and it gets into those crevices and cracks to pop the detail of the miniature out, which is important because you do want to see all the detail in these, what Wizkids is calling HD minis, or high definition miniatures. So you want to be able to catch all those details. And like I had mentioned it before in like one of the first broadcasts, I have never used the toners or the inks before. Excuse me, before that episode, and now I will absolutely never not use them. All right, as soon as I get this wash on here done, I will put them in front of the close-up cam so you guys can get a good look at them. All right, there we go. It's just gonna be a minute here, guys. What else we got going? Yeah, you guys want to see a little bit better? I see that in the chat. Who is that? Is that AJ Robert? It's nice to see you. Let me just give me 1 second here. I'll let this part dry. I'll put him in the close-up cam so you guys can see him. There you go. There he is, coming along all right. That's the front of the orc. You guys can see him there. I'm going to turn him around so you can see his back side and paint scheme on his cloak in there. And there he is. There we go. I'm going to switch him back out because like I said, I want to absolutely finish this guy today. We'll put the dwarf back up in the close-up cam. All right. And we get back to throwing some tone on this guy. All right. Going to hit the cloak again with some toner. Bring just even more pop to the details on the cloak and on the armor on his back. All right, there we go. Okay, so again, one of the things that we're looking for today, because it is Friday, we've been around about 2 weeks now doing this program, but we do not have a name for it. So if you guys could give us a name, suggest a name in the comments. I know some have already done it, and we're going to go back and we're going to review that with the referees, and we'll give you guys the answer to that will be on Monday, where that title of the show will actually be the opening with the Game Trade Media logo in some capacity. So it'll be a lot of fun, and whoever's gets chosen. What's the plural of nemesis? Nemesi? What is that? Nobody gets that? That's from nemesis. Thank you, Dr. Franken, or what is it? Casanova Frankenstein. That's what it was. Yeah. Casanova Frankenstein. Oh, I miss him. He had that thing with it. He did. There we go. All right, so just gonna do a real quick over his skin, get some more in there. All right, we're gonna call that boy done. Just gonna take this brush here real quick and kind of get some of that over thick, like where it's got wetness and like the cracks a little bit too much. Pull it off with this dry brush here. There we go. All right, let's do another close-up. Frankenstein. That's awesome. Fanboy paints it on. Looking over an old game on. Nice. There we go. Back to the close-up. Let's give you guys another peep at the orc. There we go. Give another side view there. Whoops, sorry. Right there. All right, and then we'll hit him on the back side again. Boom. There we go. So that work's done. All right, so back to what we're doing here. I'm Rick, this is Game Trade Media. I have been painting for the last 2 weeks the new line of miniatures coming out of Wizkids. These are Nolzur's Marvelous Miniatures. They're the new unpainted D&D line of miniatures. They are pre-primed with Vallejo Prime. The plastics are awesome. When you get a pack, you have your multi-packs, your dual packs, and then your singular packs. They're $4 is the price point at your local GameStop shop. They'll be on shelves next month, March. And I'm going to go through and show you guys some close-ups of some of the other miniatures. Please disregard the paints that are currently on them, because as you know, they'll look better once they get done. So you have seen, I'm going to show them one more time, the Dwarven Wizard and his companion Dwarf Wizard is in here as well. Where are you at, Dwarf Wizard? There he is. Here's the other one, so you can see them both. So those two will come together in a pack, and you can see that on this one, on the staff here, he's got a little crystal that's clear, and then he's got some energy coming out of his hand, which is also clear, so you can tone those or put an ink on that to give it a cool effect. The next ones are the Sorcerers. So you have two Sorcerers that come in the same pack together. All right, so they're pretty cool. Like I said earlier, a couple of my favorite ones are the Mind Flayers. These creepy little guys. There we go. So you got those guys. The Mind Flayers, or Lithids. Here are the Familiars. I kind of wanted to get to them, but we're not going to have time today, which is A-okay. We've got an Imp, a Pseudo-Dragon, and a Fire Bat right there. They're pretty nice. They're super tiny. We've got the Superman Vampire, just based on his color schemes, right here. All right, so you got those guys. Those are pretty awesome. And I will show you guys the last one here, the female sorcerer, or wizards, right there. All right. And there's a lot more, and you can find the rest of them and more than what I have here on Wizkids Facebook or website. If you go to wizkids.com/unpainted, you get to see the whole gambit, or gamut as it were, not the Cajun card thrower. You see the whole list of all the miniatures that are under that new brand, Nolzur's Marvelous Miniatures. So there's a bunch of them there to be seen. Yes, Cal Ellington is the name of the vampire. Cal Ellington from the Kryptonia. I'm not really sure. That's actually going to be, I think, a part of James's write-up for the Firelock Orc clan. All right. So did we get a lot of things in the chat? I didn't get to see everybody's messages in the chat, and I apologize if I didn't answer all the questions. But that's, when everybody's in there, which is awesome, and it's getting lit up, we're gonna miss some. But I will go through it and I will type some stuff in.
Remember Gurlick the Skinner?
Gurlick the Skinner. That's right. That's the name of this orc, is Gurlick the Skinner. That's right. He kind of talks like this. He's Gurlick the Skinner, and he doesn't like to be called Garlic because that's you know, not him at all. But again, Wizkid Miniatures, Vallejo, or I'm using the War Painter, Army Painter War Paints. Right now I'll be using other paints as we progress to show you guys other options that you have to use when you do your paints, and we'll be doing a little, once we get closer to finishing up the Wizkids Miniatures, we'll take a vote on what miniature I'll paint next, and we'll do it like that. So I'll have a single miniature from different lines, and we'll vote on which one will be the next one to come out. And there's also going to be a bunch of other programs coming, as I mentioned before. If you want to check out some of the other stuff that we do here with Game Trade Media, we are also a part of a what's called Comic Wow. Comic Wow is the studio that we were at, and that's where we do all of our comic book side stuff. Check out Comic Wow's Facebook page. We got a lot of cool content there. And if you go to comicwow.tv, you can see all sorts of video content that we make in regards to new product coming out to your local comic book shops and game stores, from toys, comic reviews, like I said, unboxings of different toys, which come from like Diamond Select Toys, Mezco Toys, 3A, so many different products that we promote over there. If you guys are into comic books, which I hope you are, because I kind of feel like a lot of us that are into the gaming also, we're big fans of comic books. Check out previewsworld.com and their Facebook page, because if you want to get industry insider news, that's the place to get it, because nobody's more inside than Diamond Comic Distributors and Previews World as their news site and their pretty much any information you would ever want on comic books. That's where you need to go and get it. So, and they are going to be there to help get people excited about stuff, just like I am here, trying to get people excited about these awesome miniatures, these awesome paints, and just have a good time building this community where we can talk about our fandom. That's pretty much all for today's episode. I will be back on Monday at 1 p.m. So make sure you select that follow button also on the Game Trade Media's Facebook page, so you don't miss any time we go crazy over here, because we're going to be bringing something pretty cool real soon besides just painting. So again, I'm Big Rick, or Rick, and I'll see you guys at a local convention, and on Monday again. Awesome. I'm kind of at a loss for words now. Am I still here? Is this still on? No, I'm just kidding. I'll see you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend.